I, Robert Campbell, Merchant of Sydney, do commission you, Captain Frederick Hasselborough, of the brig Perseverance, to certain islands on the coast of New Zealand or elsewhere, for the purpose of procuring oil, sealskins, or other animals or substances, the produce of the seas or islands.
Listen. My fortune.
What do we have, Captain?
We have land, Mr. Murray.
Hey folks, we're excited to announce that Preview 2 is here, improving performance, quality, and feature completeness, and fixing over 400 issues in Unreal Engine 5 since entering Preview. A big thank you to everyone for your continued help in testing UE5, and to the community already showing their fabulous projects in Preview 1. Head on over to the forums to check out the complete list of changes and drop in your feedback. Relieved that spring is approaching? Join us in celebrating with the March Unreal Engine Marketplace sale. This month, over 1,000 products are available for a staggering 50% off, including gorgeous suburbs, building blocks for everything from a quiet speakeasy to a roaring metropolis. You have through Sunday, March 13th to run over to the marketplace to bag yourself a spring treat. We recently caught up with Nottinghead Games' Shruti Ghosh, co-creator of Raji and Ancient Epic, to talk about her journey into game development. The passion of the small team, along with their desire to create a much-needed representation of Indian culture, architecture, and beauty into a game, really drove this Ancient Epic into a masterpiece. Dive into the interview to learn about the highs and the lows of taking the leap, from humbling Kickstarter experiences to Raji's reception as part of the Nintendo Indie World Showcase. While there, check out the interview with Italian studio 34 Big Things on why and how Redout 2 was designed to be an entirely new experience from the original, while staying true to what fans fell in love with. With that, the team re-examined the franchise's entire narrative universe, utilizing everything they'd learned about building a huge title in the past, along with features and workflows that Unreal Engine granted to evolve the game's looks, audio design, and more. First up on our community spotlights is Snow Cause for Alarm. Environment artist BOW demonstrates the very best of frosty materials, creating reactive snow effects and their realistic interaction with water and ice. Skate over to their ArtStation page to see the full video and find out more. Up next, we have Mandragora, a gorgeous yet tragic 2.5D story-driven side-scrolling action RPG by Primal Games Studio. Leave the sanctuary of the Crimson City and journey through punishing lands, face horrific monsters, and experience fantastical adventures to tear reality asunder. Wishlist Mandragora now on Steam. Smashing its way into the spotlight is Crash Site, a UE5 real-time environment by Daniel Comino. Utilizing the layered materials workflow in UE5 and 3ds Max's modifier stack, along with megascans and photogrammetry assets, Daniel hit the runway with this awe-inspiring scene. Fly on over to the forums to see their entire workflow breakdown and to give them some love. Thanks for watching this week's news and community spotlight.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Inside Unreal, a weekly show where we learn, explore, and celebrate everything Unreal. I am your host Tina, and today with me I have the wonderful Romain, the absolutely incredible solo developer of the upcoming survival game Derelicts. So would you like to tell us a little bit more about the game and about the project?
Sure. Thank you, Tina. Hello, I'm Romain. I'm French. I started Unreal Engine like 3 or 4 years ago as a hobby first, and I started to work on the game on Derelicts for 1 year and a half, I would say, more or less. And right now I'm doing it more like not professionally, but with more like focus than before because of the good reception and everything. Yeah. I think that summarizes about it.
Yeah, I mean, the game itself looks incredible. All of the stuff that you have released out to the public about it has been awesome. And I know that you have a couple of streams up talking about it further in depth as well, right? If anybody wants to go and look a little bit further into it as well.
Yeah, sure. Recently, I streamed a bit less because I was trying to focus a bit more on complex code and everything, but I will try to start again a bit more like frequently. So yeah, But it's true if I have a Twitch channel where I'm sometimes doing like some stream on the game. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, would you like to tell us just a little bit, a quick synopsis of the game itself?
Sure. So the game is it's called Derelicts. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well. It's a bit hard for a French guy to pronounce it, but it's a survival co-op game, base building game. In the beginning, it will be 4 players. I will try to add more with time, but for the early access, I'm targeting 4 because it's easier to keep it like lower, not too many players at first. And my goal is to make a game that has a storyline, so there will be an end. It won't be only a sandbox game, and it's heavily inspired by The Forest for people who know the game. Because I really love this game. So at the beginning, initially, I wanted to do the same type of atmosphere and ambience for Derelicts, but with adding like more innovative and refreshing like mechanics, like what we didn't see before, because otherwise it will be a bit pointless to mimic what has been done already. But yeah, if I can summarize the game, it's like survival co-op game looking with a heavy atmosphere, a story, and base building. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we have a trailer, I think, right? Why don't we give that a look?
Sure.
Incredible. Just the coolest, seriously. Every time I see that trailer, I fangirl a little bit. I love survival games just on my own as a normal player. It's one of my favorite genres. And I mean, in that trailer alone, there were so many aspects of it that are very unique to this game. It's not stuff that you see in different survival games, especially the build system you had going, the water direction system. That was awesome. Of course, the dog companion, which I can see chat was also very excited about. Would you like to talk about some of these features that you were looking into to try and make your game stand out a little bit more?
Yes. So yeah, the building mechanics is the first thing I wanted to improve on. So like you said, the water system. I want to add also like a mini train system, but I'm still not sure. I will have to experiment a bit. But like with carts, with like mining carts, where you can push I don't know, logs or rocks and everything. Because with the system of water I made, I can actually expand on it and do basically anything that is linear. You know, like, so it's, I could actually do this, but I will have to see in terms of mechanics if it's worth it. And the other thing is like weather, like a weather system that is actually impacting your energy production and your base and everything, your camp.
Yeah.
I know Icarus did this recently, but I was also thinking about doing this in my game, like with blizzards and thunderstorms and like I don't know, maybe like hot weather that can impact your water production and everything. So yeah, I know I want the river to freeze, so it stop your water wheel and everything. So yeah, I have quite some ideas to use the weather as an element. And what else? Yeah, and the AI also, because I really want to do an AI that is quite good for a survival game, because there are quite few survival games with really good AIs, according to me. Again, it's my opinion, but The Forest did it really well. But I'm yet to see really a good AI that react to the players and the group as well. Like they can surround you and attack you from the side and everything. So yeah, I would summarize it like this. Yeah.
I love it. It sounds super spooky. Oh, so good. I'm personally curious, what brought the dog companion into it? Was that just, it just was something that you were interested in doing? Was there anything in particular that inspired that choice?
Actually, it's funny because it was the dog is coming from a pack like a marketplace asset, like, and it was free for like I think it was 4 or 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, and I looked at it and it was so high quality and everything. I told myself like, yeah, this is definitely going into the game because it looks really fantastic, and I wanted. I told myself like, because Derelicts will be also solo player, like one you can play solo. So I told myself like, yeah, it will be actually really good if you could have a companion or something like this in the game for people playing solo. So yeah, I was like, okay, I will have to implement this, and I really want to use it. It will not be only like for companion. It will also be used for it will be used for to find like maybe some items and things like this, you know, like a bit further. There are a lot of games using dogs, like Fallout 4 or Far Cry 5 as well, but I don't remember this game using like this companion more than for just having companionship, you know. I don't, from what I remember, maybe I'm mistaken, but yeah. And I would like to add extra layer to it if I manage to do
Yeah.
it, because again, it's a high expectation, but yeah.
Yeah, well, take your time, of course. Do what you gotta do. I think everybody can agree that we are just excited for the game to be as good as it could be. So, oh man, I don't even know where to start. I'm bouncing, honestly, in my seat. It is such a cool project. It's just so good. Oh my gosh. But
Thanks.
if you don't mind, there's a couple of questions from chat that I'd like to address before we dive a little bit too deep. Um,
Sure.
there are some questions. Is it co-op or multiplayer?
It's co-op. It's solo and co-op. Multiplayer, I guess it's like PvP. What they mean by multiplayer. I'm not planning PvP so far, but No, I don't think there will be ever PvP in my game. I prefer the kind of cohesive team play you have in co-op. But I will see if someday maybe I have the time and a team to help me with. Definitely, I will try to do it. PvP is harder to do, I think, for a solo person. But if you have a team, it's definitely easier. So why not? Like I said, never say never. So yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, but for now, the initial project is only to do a co-op game. Yeah, 4 players co-op. Yeah, no PvP so far.
Awesome. Very cool. When you started this whole project, what kind of inspired you to even begin? Obviously, a lot of people have ideas for games and ideas for projects, but what has been the thing that's driven you to actually make it and get as far in the process as you have?
I started by making small projects in Unreal Engine, as I guess everybody else, because we all do like some prototyping and testing. When we find out about the engine, we are like little children on Christmas Eve, like you are trying to test everything, the technologies, and it's such an awesome engine that you have so many things to discover about. I remember I started with the co-op game, a bit like a linear FPS, like say Half-Life or older games, but in co-op. And then I switched on a horror game, because horror games are actually easier to make, I think, in co-op, because it's quite close. It's often in close areas. You can make a map that is easier to do and everything. But I didn't feel the spark. How can I say? I was liking what I was doing, but I felt like it wasn't really the game I wanted to do in the end. And I ended up asking myself, what take the game you enjoy the most on the past like 5 years, and try to do the same kind of game. And it was the forest. I'm sorry again, I will mention the forest a lot in this broadcast, in this live stream, but it's one of my favorite game on the past 10 years. I did it in co-op with 2 of my best friends, and it was like an amazing experience. And I really wanted to like to dig into this love I had for this game, to make my own game, but with, like I said in the beginning, innovative mechanics. So yeah, basically it's what started the project. And it's been 1 year and a half, and I never like how can I say, derailed from this initial love for my project. So I'm guessing it's a good one. And seeing
Yeah.
the people loving it and loving it and everything is really the cherry on the cake, because it's really a project that I have in deep in my heart. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when you love something and you see that other people share that love for it, it kind of helps to keep things going for sure.
Definitely, yeah. But like I said, I think what I would advise people is, even if they start with some projects, if they don't feel really like they have the will to for a particular project, is to maybe try something else, and in the end they will for sure find what they want to do. At least that's my 2 cents. Like that's what I experienced. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, very good advice. If it doesn't feel right, then go until you find something that does. Is there any advice that you can give for those using marketplace assets in their game?
Sure. I think the best advice I have I'm not a pro again, so I just want to say I'm not a pro in the industry or anything, so it's my opinion. I just want to highlight this. But for me, using assets is cool as long as your game has a coherence. Like everything looks great together, but if the assets makes it a bit like how can I say, too heterogeneous, it will look
Mm-hmm.
weird. At least for a realistic game like mine, realistic graphically, I mean, not in terms of simulation and everything, but for stylized game and like 2D platformers, I guess it's different. But I would say keep it cohesive and coherent. but there is no problem using asset because I think it's first for solo person. There are a lot of solo developers out there, so it's impossible to do all the 3D models by yourself and the animations, and unless you have a friend helping you and everything. But so I would say, yeah, keep it coherent in your visual aesthetics and design, and don't add up on what you are using on the marketplace. Don't use it as it is, but try to modify it like I'm doing for Derelicts. It's like I'm not using the asset as it's coming. I'm adding upon it. Like I'm doing my own system, getting inspiration from what I'm getting on the marketplace. So basically, I'm trying to do something different, but learning the code and the blueprints from what I'm getting on the marketplace. I think the marketplace is an awesome source of learning because I learn basically everything from the assets and from YouTube. But don't use it as it's coming, and try to add your personal touch. If I can summarize it again.
Great advice, honestly. Yeah, I completely agree. If you can put your twist on it, it helps it to stand out a little bit and make it more unique, fit into your personal project a little bit better.
Yeah, I think market also it's good for placeholders. Like I'm doing in Derelicts, I'm also using assets because maybe later on I will hire I don't know freelance to help me modeling some particular mesh or skeletal mesh or model. But in the beginning, it's really good because you just need to prototype your system and your mechanics, and the assets are really good for this because you don't have the time or the money to get everything you want because you are solo or maybe 2 or 3 persons. So it's really perfect to add your own code to this using models that are pre-made, and then you can later on down the line change them. Even if you, I don't know, if you start selling your game. I've seen some games actually that are in early access and everything, starting with assets that are pre-made, and then they change them, they switch the assets because they earn more money with the sales and everything. So they could actually afford hiring freelancers and so on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Very good advice. I'll leave chat to kind of store up some more questions in the meantime, but I would love to get into some of the blueprints and dive a little bit further into the game itself, if you're good with that.
Of course. Yeah, sure. So here we are on my test map. Let's say the high quality test map, because I have another one I will probably show later on, but this one actually looks like something like a forest, so it's cool. But it's not actually, I'm not actually testing my mechanics on this one because first it's a bit heavy on CPU and GPU. It's for nothing because when I'm testing the mechanics, I test them on a really empty map. But for now, we'll restart on this one. And I think I took some topics I wanted to talk about. One mechanic I often have question about is tree chopping. Actually from my YouTube channel and from Reddit and so on. And I think I wanted to start with this because what I want to do with this game is really have something like organic. I don't know, in French it's a word, I don't know if it applies in English, but in French it's a word to say like more real, like you feel you are really in a universe and you're actually acting upon the world. And I really wanted to keep the game as organic as possible, meaning that I also want to have less UI. And my goal for the game is to have no UI basically on the screen. So if I show you, for example, if I start the game right now, you see there is nothing on screen actually. So there is no actually, let me just hide this one. It will be better. Up. So yeah, if you see, there is no like earth bar or stamina bar because I really want the game to be UI free basically. It's really one of my main objectives. I really liked there is a game that did this a long time ago, King Kong. It's Peter Jackson's King Kong on PS2, and I really like the fact that you had no basically UI or anything, and even for the bullets, for the guns, you had to press a key or a button on your controller and the character was telling you how many bullets he have or how many ammos he had in his gun. And I really like this part. So what I will try to do is to do the same for my game. I mean, as long as I can keep information on out of the screen, I would say. Of course, there will be information on the screen because you are not. It's impossible to do it differently. But for example, if I start building something, let's say a foundation here. Here I will have to display how many elements you will need to build this resource. So for the purpose of this demo, I will skip the resource implementation because it will be really long. But for example, I will press E and it will directly build. It will directly build it. But in the real game, you will have to, for example, cut a tree. Let me find a tree here, for example. So you will have small trees that give you sticks and big trees that give you logs. So for example, if I use this one, also, like I said, tree chopping is one of the main mechanics I wanted to do really well because I've played some survival games that do tree chopping, but you just hit the tree and it's just falling and turning into logs. So what I wanted to do is actually first have it like a bit in the forest, like you can see actually the impact on the tree like this. I will explain a bit more into details how it's done afterwards, but here you see the tree is falling. And then you go and you chop it more to get the logs. So let me show you. And I'm using a technology from Unreal that is called the Apex. I think Apex Destruction plugin. It's inside the engine, and when you cut, you will see when I cut the tree, it's actually splitting. It's really awesome. You see, like the tree is like falling apart, and you get your logs like this. So I really like the fact that you have these technologies in Unreal Engine that allow you to use them really easily, and it looks awesome in a game like this. So I will store my logs like this, so I can store some more. I have some here. But if I go further on I will show you the blueprints afterwards, so I can show how it's made. But basically, I'm firing a line trace on the tree, and when I hit it, it's switching the models. I will show afterwards. And these small ones, it's a bit different. They also fall apart, sorry. And but they directly give the resource. So I will show you like this. So they give small sticks like this. So it will disappear. And actually it's flying, so it's something I'm still working on, so it's normal. But I can pick them up and I have them in my inventory like this. And I think that's it. So I can show once more the system, and I will explain why it's actually tricky to do in terms of optimization. Because I have to mention that, in my opinion, survival games are really hard to optimize because you have a lot of things on screen. You have either open world or semi-open world in the game, so many things to display on screen, and also players can actually build an infinite or often an infinite amount of build parts. So it's really tricky because you have to find the right balance in your code for the CPU to actually how can I say? If I go into more details, it's a bit techniques, but when you play a game, your CPU is telling your GPU how many things it has to display on screen, and this is called a draw call. And the problem with draw calls is the more different things you have on screen, the more draw calls you will have, and the more draw calls, the less frame rate, the less FPS you will have. Your frame rate will go down, and it's really a balance to find in your code to to actually optimize it as good as possible, as best as possible. So I will try to explain how it's done here. It's there is an awesome tool in Unreal that is called the foliage painting. I'm guessing everybody on the chat, most of people using Unreal Engine know about what I'm talking about. For other people, I will just quickly show it. But the foliage tool is basically to paint trees and grass and plants. And the really good thing about it is that it's instancing your meshes, your models. So without going too deep into the explanation, it's basically transfer. Like for example, let me show you a good example. If I place a tree on the map, I will go to my trees. For example, here, let's select the one I had already. So here I have a mesh of my tree. So if I bring to the editor like this, it will become an actor basically, and it will be two draw colors, one for the model and one for the material on it. So the model is a geometry of the mesh. So again, I will show. I'm guessing most people know this already if they use Unreal Engine, but you have the geometry of it with the polygons. So here we can't actually see anything because there are too many models on the screen. But so basically, it's two draw curves, but the foliage. Don't hesitate to cut me, Tina, if you have question or anything. I'm talking a lot, but
no, please keep going.
All right, thank you. And for the foliage tool, basically Unreal will instance your models into one draw call, and so it means if I paint with the foliage tool here my trees like this, when the player will look at these 4 trees I just painted, it will be only one draw call against versus 4 draw call, like basically 8. Maybe it will be only 2 because there is also the material, but maximum 2 draw calls. But if I add actors on the map with the way I did it before, it will be 2 draw calls for each model. So basically, it's better to paint with your foliage tool because for the trees and grass, because you will have a lot of trees and grass on your screen. Basically, in any game in 3D that is realistic, even for stylized game, you will have this problem. So the challenge in terms of optimization is that you cannot interact with these instances like you do with a normal actor. So this one is just a mesh I drag and dropped, but usually you use a blueprint. But the trick here is that you need to transform this instance of the tree because all these 4 trees will come together. So the only information I get from this one are the number, the index, and the transform and their scale. So their size and the location they are in the map, and like I said, the transform, the scale, and the index. So the number. So what I'm doing, even for these small trees, is like I'm painting with this tool for the trees, and then I'm switching every time I hit it the first time. I will show you. Let's go back to the game. In fact, when I hit it with my axe, with my hatchet, it's not the same actor. It will switch with another one that will show the cut in the tree. So right now it's a different actor. So this one became a full blueprint, a full actor, while these three trees are still in the foliage. I don't know if it makes sense. Is it clear what I'm saying, Tina? I'm trying to be as clear as possible.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Okay. So why is it important when you are doing a survival game, especially a survival game? Because I'm not sure there are many games out there that allows you to chop trees or to build buildings or build parts and everything, but every time you have to interact with the environment, it's additional optimization you need to do, and it's really it's really giving you headaches because it's really hard to keep a good frame rate and still have a interaction with everything. So I will come back to it later, but it's the same for the building parts that because you have a lot of building parts display on screen. I'm not displaying the FPS right now, but if I'm looking in this direction, I didn't optimize these build parts yet, so you will see that if I'm looking in this direction, my FPS will drop compared to this direction because there are less things to display. And yeah, basically you have to switch your model when you hit a tree like this. And one thing to add upon this system is, what if players hit all the trees on the map? It will actually create a problem because you will end up with a lot of actors on your map. Basically, if I do this, for example, right now I'm actually having 4 actors, meaning 8 draw calls, even more because I have actually 2 materials on the trees. I have the leaves and the how is it called? The trunk material is called the bark, I think, or something like this.
Yeah.
But okay, and right now I have a problem because if my player on my map are eating all the trees, all the pines, for example, here. This one is not working. Why? Huh. Yeah, it's because it's the one I did myself. Okay, this one is I can actually go through it because it's not it doesn't have any collision. It's because it's the one I just added with the foliage tool. But yeah, so one way I came up with to how can I say, bypass this problem is at some point, if the players are not chopping down the trees, I will turn them back to a foliage instance. So they will basically go back to the previous state. But it really means if the players didn't chop that down for like, I don't know, 30 minutes, it's not really realistic because it's not, it doesn't make sense. But for the optimization of the game, it's better. So if we go into the blueprints, if I can show a bit of this one, I will actually start with the small trees because it's easier to show. This one I will go here. So I need to I will need to go to my mouse one button interaction because it's when I fire the axe. And you see I have this bunch of code here. And I will go to my graph here. So yeah, basically what I'm doing is, how can I show this? I will actually show first the way it's done. So I will just draw the debug trace here. It's actually breaking the fourth wall of gamers. For if people are watching this, it's breaking the fourth wall for the game. But I mean, if you are here, it's because you're interested. So
Yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely.
you see when I fire this, you see I have a red trace. See this sphere trace here. The lens, I don't know. I will do it in the sky so people can see better. So here I will fire my mass one button. You see I have this trace. It's basically the length of where I can hit an item in front of me. And if I do it in front of a tree, it will detect the tree and cut it. So like right here. So since it's not really a procedural system, you see that if I hit here, it will still cut the tree here. But unfortunately, it's how can I say? It's a balance between optimization and so far I didn't get into a more realistic way to cut trees, but I can at some point maybe improve on it. But you see, this trace is actually red. Sorry, when when it don't hit anything, it's red, and when I hit something, it's green. It becomes green. See? So here it detects that I hit the tree, and why I wanted to show this is because if I go back to my to the blueprint, so I'm detecting which object I'm hitting, and then it's not this one. Let me check. No, it's here. Yeah. Actually, I was still on the trace node, but here I'm actually registering which component I'm hitting. So here it's the foliage component, it's a tree. And then I'm getting the number, like the index of the tree. So like, you remember when I told you in the beginning, the foliage is only gives you mostly three information: is the transform, the scale, and the index. There might be more. I don't want to say. I don't want to say some some wrong things, but what I'm using most of the time is these three information. And here I will just get the index of the tree. So maybe it's tree like it's the tree like number 12, and I will remove this tree because I just want to replace it with something else. And I will basically, yeah, actually, no, wait, it's not this one. Sorry. Or is it? I think this one is. Oh no, this one is when I
All
cut the.
blueprints look the same at some point.
Yeah. Actually, this one is when they're already like chopped down, and oh yeah, it's here. Sorry. Okay, I was in the good graph, the right graph, but not on the good code. So here I'm casting to the foliage component, like with there can be like 100 of trees, but I don't want 100. I want only one, the one I'm hitting. So I will get the index of the tree, and I will get its transform, like its location, its scale, its rotation. And for the small one, yeah, I wanted to start with the small one. Here, there is a node called check tree because I just wanted to check. So I will show you again. For the small trees, I make them check or shake, if it's the right pronunciation. So this one is a small one. So this one, I don't transform it. I don't turn it into an actor. I leave it as an instance to optimize the game. So I just make it like shake like this. You see? So it's still the same foliage instance because I can modify the rotation and the rotation. In here, I'm modifying the rotation. So for these small trees, there is no problem hitting them. For the big one, yes, because here it's turning into an actor. But for this one, I'm just checking it. And once I hit it twice, it's becoming an actor and it's crumbling down. So I can start it here again. See, it's like being destroyed. I still don't know why this stick is not falling on the ground, but actually I can see the two sticks falling on the ground, but somehow it's teleported back on the. Yeah, I know why. Actually, because the physics of the sticks is broken. It's something I worked on recently, so that's why. But for the small trees,
You can just say it's magic. There's always a floating stick.
Yeah. I can actually, I can implement magic in the game. Actually, yes, good idea. So yeah, if I go back to this one, here, if I go back to this node here, it's a node I made, but I'm doing like a timer by events. So basically, I'm when you see the small tree checking like this, I'm just making the rotation varies change change on the with the timer basically. So this is optimized for the small tree. It's optimized with the foliage, but not for the big ones. For the big ones, you need to switch with a real actor. So if I can show you, actually, I'm the perfect folder here. So I will show you. This is, for example, for the pine. This is the pine. When you see it, you didn't chop it once or twice. It's still like it's still full. But you see, I have several models here. I have a chop one. So it's actually a bit tricky because the bottom is cut and I'm replacing it with a spline mesh. It's a bit. I don't think I will go into this because it's a bit tricky. But basically, at the end of the trunk here, I'm adding a spline mesh that will make the end of the tree. If it makes sense. So, and you have the stump here. For example, if I can show you. Here it's the same. You have the stump of the tree. So when you hit the tree the first time, it's switching with these two models. So you hit it, you have the stump and the tree, and they're just like gather. But in between, I'm adding a small component called a spline mesh that will add a junction of the two. And the code is actually quite complex, so I can't show it quickly, but yeah, I will try to show it. Let me know if you have
Did you
questions in the
use
meantime,
blueprints
Tina.
for that, or was that done through coding?
Yeah, I did everything in Blueprint. Yeah. If I can find it, it's actually adding. Let me find it. Yeah, as you can see, the code is quite huge here. Actually, don't remember what I did this like this system. It was a long time ago.
No worries. The world of spaghetti is very confusing sometimes.
Let me check. Let me find the results if I have a spline. Yeah, spline shop here. Okay, it's not giving me anything. If I try this one. Okay. Yeah, basically when I spawn this actor, the tree. If I go back here. Let's say, yeah, we can go back on the one I had. When I spawn this mesh in the actor, depending on the mesh it's calling a spline with the material and everything that is added at the bottom and the top of the stump. So that's a trick to turn the foliage into an actor, and at some points I'm making a timer that will turn the actor back into foliage to optimize the game. Maybe after, I don't know, like I said, 30 minutes, the chopped tree will go back to the foliage component if it hasn't been completely chopped. Yeah.
Very cool. So I can't just completely deforest, is what you're saying. It will come back.
But it's different. The trees growing back are different matter than what I'm talking about because what I'm talking about is not about it's only about optimization. But you can I will actually make an option for the trees to grow back also. But you can deforest as much as you want, so you can deforest and there will be an option like in the forest there is an option actually for trees to grow back. I remember this. You have to tick it in the options. It's not initially ticked, but for example, with my friends, we didn't tick it, so we had to build with whatever we had on the easy island. But yeah.
That's the
So I don't
hard
know if
mode.
people have. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there is actually a difficulty setting, and then you have the tree growing back setting as well. That is independent to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I gotta
So
say,
I don't
I
know if
actually really love the fact that there's not a bunch of UI sitting in there, it makes it feel very immersive when you're actually in the game.
Yeah, I really like this as well, and that's why I wanted to implement it like this. I think, yeah, it's not maybe in the trailer, but it might be in the picture on Steam. But for example, if I press, let me put full screen, you see even the building menu, I wanted it to be 3D. So it's like kind of a hologram, displayed from a little drone. And I really wanted it to be like incorporated, like implemented into the game, like incorporated, or I don't know how to say in English, but it's like it feels more organic to have like yeah, it's correct to say that. So
yeah, incorporate it. You got it.
Okay, so yeah, basically it's not a screen that is like bumping into your face. It's something that is incorporated into the game. Yeah. So you have this little hologram down there to show that. But the problem with this system, I still didn't tackle this problem, but there is a problem of opacity and emissiveness, I think. Well, each material in Unreal have a emissive parameter, and the problem is when it's nighttime, this menu can be really bright, and I'm still yet to find a way to tackle this problem, basically. But otherwise, I really would like to be in 3D, because the alternative is to have it in 2D like this. I can show you, but I like it a lot less. Let me find it. Oh no, wait, I'm not in the good blueprint here. Yes, it's here. So I can put it in 2D like this. I will show you. You will see the difference. I don't know if you will see the difference. I'm curious if people in the chat will see it, but it's less. Basically, you can see it's on the screen. For me, it's obvious, but yeah, I will show you. So here, it's actually displayed as a 2D widget. So you can see first that it's really like parallel to the screen compared to before. I don't know if it's obvious or not for you, Tina, but
yeah, I can definitely see the difference there. It feels kind of just like an overlay on the screen instead of like its own object.
Yeah, exactly. So the alternative would be to have it in 2D, but I would really prefer it to be in 3D, because it's adding a layer of realism, let's say, or like it's more organic. So yeah. But I will have to find a way. Maybe I will do some math where you can get the brightness of the world. I don't know if it's actually possible. I will have to check it out, but you can get the brightness or the light in the world, and then do some math and in output the actual emissiveness of the menu. This is what I have in mind. I still didn't look into it, but if some people in the chat maybe did this already somehow, but yeah, I'm open to any ideas. So yeah, basically I wanted to have the menu as a real 3D element in the game, like you really have it not on the screen, but as an hologram. And yeah, so we'll switch back to world. And actually for the so it's bugged. I won't show it because I messed up with this one. Let me no, maybe I can find it. Player state, maybe it will work. I messed up this one recently, so maybe it won't work, but I will show it anyway. Even for the stamina and the health, I wanted to have it on the screen. I mean on the hologram as well. But it's something I'm a bit like hesitating about, because I know some players want it to have on the screen, because it's a bit sometimes annoying to check your state everyone, like when pressing a button, basically. So I don't know. I will have to see. But if I do this like this, no, it's bugged. Actually, I don't know why it's still bugged. But basically, you can see your stamina. I can show the screen here. I will show the widget. It will be easier. like this. I think it's this. That's the one. Ah, yeah, that's why it's okay. There is something I messed up in here. But yeah, but basically it's supposed to show you the temperature of your player and your. What, I don't know actually why it's doing this. It's actually, if you can see, it's actually showing my my graphic option menu. It's like the anti-aliasing and resolution and everything. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but anyway, I will switch to something else. But yeah, I don't know why it's showing this. I must have messed up something somewhere.
I mean, this
It's
is the
supposed to be.
reality of development, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Ah, yeah, wait. I think yeah, I think it's switched with something else, but oh yeah, okay. I will normally it's showing your health and stamina and temperature. And it's basically the same as the building menu. It's in a 3D hologram that is in front of you. So maybe I think I will add an option to allow players to still have it on the, I don't know, the bottom right screen or some things for people that don't really care about this. But in my mind, it's better to have nothing on the screen at all. So yeah, it's the way it's my picture of the game is like this. But I know some people like to have more like, convenient way of checking the state of the player and everything. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
it's auto
definitely one of
scan.
those things that's different per player, but I see the vision you're going for.
Yeah, I think it's nowadays it's like you have too many things on screen in games. I mean, not in survival. In survival, they keep it quite low usually, but even if in FPS games, I find there are two. Like you have this big ammo counter on the right bottom of the screen and everything. Sometimes it could be good to have like less. Like we say, less is more. You know. So yeah, but it's my vision. It's my opinion. So yeah, I won't say it's good for everybody, but yeah. But for a survival game, I think it's good because you are supposed to be like threatened by enemies and the flora and the fauna. So yeah, I think it's good to have less on the screen. And yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the enemies, actually, if you don't mind, there were a couple questions about the AI and some of the other things that people are seeing in the trailer. If you're open for that.
Sure. Yeah. Are there any
Awesome.
particular
So
question or yeah? Okay. Go.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. With the no, no worries. With the AI, they were curious how you even started in on that. Did you start with kind of a basic blueprint and build off of it, or have you done the AI yourself just from the ground up?
I did it from the ground up actually. Yeah. I used mostly YouTube tutorials. There are many tutorials on YouTube that are really great for AI. Also, I digged a lot into Unreal Engine forums like Answer Hub, Unreal Engine forums and everything because sometimes there are no particular tutorial on what you want to do, but mostly I won't say I did it by myself because of course I learned it from somewhere, but yeah, I didn't use any marketplace asset or anything. I tried to implement things as I wanted them to be. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. For the AI, are you having multiple types of enemies in the game? Like, will there be different types of AI that have different ways of learning?
Yeah, yeah, there will be different type of enemies. They are what I call the biped enemies, so they are standing on two legs. and this one will have different reaction to when you hit them and everything. I showed this in the trailer. Actually, I can show it actually here. Let me see if I have. I do have a nav mesh. So for people who are not familiar with the nav mesh, is the green. You see the green thing on the ground here. It's the area where the AI can go. So from here, this boundary here to this limit, the AI cannot follow me because there is no nav mesh. It's the way Unreal Engine calculate where basically allow the AI to where the AI can go, basically. So I can actually place an enemy here. Let's say I use the enemy. We can see in the trailer this kind of mutant here, and this one has 2 legs. So I considered it as biped. So it's a bit tricky because it's on 4 legs, but you will see it moves on 4 legs. But I consider it as a biped because it has 2 legs. I will go through screen. So it will roam the area like this, looking for me, and it will find me. So you can see it will hit me here. But the biped enemies, the difference with the other one is that they can crawl when you basically hurt them. So I can hurt this one. So yeah, this code is like, I want enemies to really have good reaction to the player when they get hit and everything. Here it's a bit exaggerated because whenever I hit the head of the enemy, it will crawl back like this. Like if I do it again, you see. Here, usually it's used for the bow and arrows, but since the code is implemented like this so far, it will do this every time I hit it. I hit it in the head. If I target another member, like another limb, sorry, it will go like this. So here, okay, the health of the enemy is down, so it will crawls away from me. So you see here it's stuck because there is a build port. So sometimes it happens. This is still early work, so don't mind the bug and everything. The AI is really something I didn't really get into yet. So right now it's escaping me, and if I keep eating it, it will crawl further like this, leave some blood trail. I don't know if it's really evident here. And then it will die like this. So these are the biped enemies. So maybe I still don't know if I will implement humans enemies, but basically everything that has 2 legs will be able to do this. And there are other type of enemies, but I won't show too much because it can be a spoil, but I will show you some of them that are not really too important. Not too important, but that can bring some differences in the game. But let me check. For example, this one. So this one, actually, it doesn't depend if the enemy is biped. It actually depends of the skeleton it has, because some animation are really tricky to do for enemies that have more limbs. So for example, you see this one. Wait, let me just remove this one, the mutant one here. So yeah, this one, for example, is a bit different because you can see it has like four arms and everything. So these ones cannot crawl and everything. I will see if I can add it with time, but I wanted to keep it for biped enemies. But there will be a lot of variety in terms of enemies for sure. Yeah. This one is really ugly, by the way.
Yes,
You don't want to get jumped by this one during the night. Yeah, it's called the crab monster, but yeah. So
I can already envision getting surrounded by those in the middle of the dark. Just horrible.
And what I did and I really wanted to add is and this actually can be done by a lot of monsters or mutants. It's something we rarely see in games actually. It's strafing. So let me actually, I could have shown it with this one, but I prefer the animation of the other one. This one, I still need to work a bit on it, but let me go back to the first one. And if I get into his sphere at some point, it can strafe around me. The purpose for this is that at some point, when there are like three or four enemies around you, I want them to like basically cycle you. This word is really hard to say in French. Cycle you. I don't know if you understand like a cycle, but it's let me show you. I will actually do it because now it's on a randomized a random pattern, but I will just force it down. So wait, I will go back to the blueprint here. So here, every time it's getting into my my safe space, basically, it will strafe. I will show you here. So now it's roaming. Once it will detect me, it will come to me, and here you see it's strafing. And this is something we don't really often see in game. It can even go backward, like back up or back out. But yeah, basically, it's once it gets into the sphere, it's attacking you. But if I go back here, because it's forced now, but you see, it's like hesitating to come to me. And this is really something I wanted to have in the game, because I'm really, I think we often see too much of the enemies just going straight to you and attacking you. And what I wanted to add is kind of like there is in the forest. Actually, the forest is like this. The cannibals just first observe you, and then on the first day they just don't come to you right away. They're like, who are these guys and everything. So yeah, that's really one component I wanted to add in the game. Yeah. And now it is getting into my sphere, and yeah. And also, since we are at this point, I wanted to show something I want to add as well. It's really something I really like. If I go back to, so let me check. I will go to my arrow. You will be able in the game to have arrows that have special, like, how can I say, special effects. So far I developed the frozen effect. So I will show you. It's really something I wanted to add as well. It's not really realistic, but again, it's a kind of innovative feature I wanted to add in the game. But let me show you. It will be easier. Basically, you will have like fire. It's already been done. Like the forest, you can have fire arrows and everything. So, but I wanted to add more to the game, and like poisonous arrows, freezing arrows, things like this. And if I go back, this is the blueprint of my arrow. Basically, this is you can see in 3D. It's the arrow item here. It's basically just a static mesh. It has a projectile movement because this is a component from Unreal, like bullets or arrows. As this, it's already a component from Unreal, so you can give a speed and an impulsion when you spawn an item, and it will basically behave as a projectile. So the projectile movement is basically provided by Unreal. And in these blueprints, I made a custom code. So depending on the type of arrow you get, you can modify it. So here you have none. If I put frozen, actually it should be freezing. It's not really correct, I think, but whatever. And here you will see, if I take my bow like this, I will go full screen. And the first time I hit the enemy, it will freeze. I missed it. Okay, I hit it's not working when I hit the head, because like I said, it's another code, but I will do it again here like this. So if I'm waiting a bit, the enemy will go back to its initial state, but you can see it's frozen here. But it will go back to attacking me after a while. But if I hit it again once it's frozen, like this, it will just die, basically, like this.
That's
So I really
awesome.
wanted to add, thanks. So I really wanted to add this kind of effects. It's kind of, how can I say, it's not realistic. This is what I was a bit afraid in the beginning, because I was thinking, like, maybe people won't like it because it's a bit getting too far away from a real survival game, like where you have to basically, it's a bit sci-fi when you add this kind of thing, or fantasy. But yeah, I think it's a good addition to the game, and I kept it like this, basically. Yeah. I don't know
I
what you think
personally
about
love
it,
it.
Tina.
I
But
think it lends
okay.
to the feel of the game, because it's not necessarily real life, right? And I think it lends a little bit more to the idea of the base of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the game is already set in a sci-fi universe, so I can actually show a bit of the introduction afterwards. It could be interesting, but there is a full intro scene in space. Can be spoiling, but I think it's forced for people interested in the way I did the cutscene in the beginning. So yeah, for people not wanting to get spoiled about the introduction, maybe I will leave like a comment before, but yeah.
Sure. Spoiler zone. Be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of errors here, by the way. My AI is still is still a lot does still have a lot of error. Oh yeah, I think when I don't know if there are some questions. Let me know, Sina, but
Sure. Yeah. There's a couple that we could probably catch up on in the meantime, and then we could dive a little bit more into some of the other topics and blueprints you had prepared. There are a couple sort of overview questions more directed at being kind of an indie developer, being a solo developer, and that whole process. So the first one we've got here was what was the hardest obstacle to overcome that you didn't originally plan for when building a survival game?
For survival game in particular, I will say the scope of the game. Like in the beginning, it was like really easy to picture the game in my head, but a survival game is actually a huge thing to tackle, and I would say the scope is a bit too big for one person, even for me. Right now, I'm realizing it, but it's not too big because of it's too hard. It's too big because of the time you need to spend to make it. So for me, it's okay because I don't have really a deadline or anything. But this type of game is really a lot of work. But the second thing, it's not really something I missed, if I can say, but it's the optimization. Like I said in the beginning, according to me, survival games are one of the worst games you can think of to optimize, because people can build. It's a sandbox game, so they can build like thousands of things on the map. So your CPU will just die if you don't optimize the game properly. And it's really hard. That's why so many survival games are really badly optimized. I've played a lot of games that I was disappointed into because they don't really reach even 60 FPS. But I now understand why, because it's really a challenge to optimize. But yet, yeah, I would say it's not something I missed, kind of, but it's something I'm trying to do from the beginning. It's actually wasting me a lot of time because I'm trying to optimize it as best as possible, and it's something. If I were like, how can I say? I could do the optimization in the end, but yet again, people will be disappointed in the game because they will say like, okay, it's badly optimized and everything. So it's really something I'm trying to tackle now, but it's a lot. It's taking me a lot of time, basically. Yeah.
It's a challenge, definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like the two things that are the hardest in development is scope and optimization, always.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really two things that are really hard. And also, one last thing is, like I said earlier, you can see the nav mesh in green on the screen. Yeah, thank you. And this nav mesh is all the locations. Yeah, the locations the AI can go, and the bigger the world is, and the longer it will take you to. Basically, you see here it's really small, but if I increase the size a lot, the engine will take a lot of time to calculate where the AI can go and everything. So it will add upon your development time. Let me show you. For example, if I find the nav mesh, again, I think it's something people with using Unreal Engine are quite familiar with, but yeah, it's really small. You see, it's just a small rectangle on my map. But if I just stretch it like this, we'll see in the bottom right corner of my screen, it will calculate again the nav mesh. You see down there? Okay, right now it was quite fast, but imagine a really, you see the map, for example, here is quite big. Imagine I'm doing this on a really huge map. It will take like maybe sometimes 3 minutes to calculate the whole thing. So and also your AI will be bugged because it will get stuck in some small rock and things like this. So the testing on the AI is like a nightmare for I think for any game, but particularly for a survival game because, like I said, people can build things on the map, so the nav mesh has to be recalculated every time because if you build a wall, the mutant cannot go through this wall. So yeah, you get what I mean. But it's like a balance between optimization and basically what players can do. So yeah,
Yeah, for
really,
sure.
really a huge challenge for a survival game. It's something people really need to keep in mind when they start a survival game. Is like, okay, if I want AI and everything, I really need to think this through before making the map and so on. Yeah. I hope it was summarized enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also just really good and important information to have because I think it's easy to get caught up in the idea of something and then forget about, this has to be actually playable at some point too, when somebody's made a whole bunch of structures in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, what you just said is really important for people buying assets on the marketplace because uh, sometimes they are not really optimized. Most of the assets I have seen so far are really good, and they think about it in the frame of a real game. But sometimes I've encountered some assets I bought that are not really optimized at all, and they can be optimized on your own, but it will take you some times. For example, on models, if you have a lot of materials, different materials. I don't know if you know what a material is in Unreal, Tina.
Yes.
Do you want? Yeah, it's okay. So it's a number of basically, but yeah, materials. So yeah, one material is one draw call for Unreal. So let me, if I have an example, if I take this tree, uh, let's imagine it has like 8 materials. So it will be the model plus the 8 materials as draw calls. So it will be 9 draw calls for the CPU to tell the GPU, okay, display me this tree. The CPU will tell the GPU, display me this tree. And it's 9 materials. So it will be 10 draw calls. And sometimes on the marketplace, you will buy assets that has a lot of materials, and you can actually optimize this better. It depends. If you want to do, how can I say it? If you want to do a cinematic trailer, it's really awesome to buy this asset as it is, because you will have the best quality. Because the more materials you have on an asset, and the best quality you will have, because each material will be 4K, and this is the optimal thing you can have. So if you want to do a cutscene, for example, it will the asset. I'm not saying the asset is bad because it has too many materials. I'm saying if you are using it for a game, it might be not optimized. That's the difference and the nuance. But I had to do for example on my case, I had to do some optimization on some assets because there had too many materials, and I had to merge these materials into one. So it's only 2 draw calls, back to 2 draw calls instead of 1, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And there is I can actually show the option if you want in Unreal Engine. If it can be really useful for people. This option is really awesome. I will show it actually
Yeah.
for people who don't know about it. It's really cool. I will actually display two meshes. No, actually I can let me think. I can actually display, I don't know, 2 meshes like this. Let me just undisplay the nav mesh here. So let's say I have this mesh here. So if I open it, for example, it's only one material. So it's quite cool because this one won't take too much draw calls. But here, for example, let's say it's like kind of old temple or old alien infrastructure or like architecture. Let's say I want to merge these 2 meshes, because right now it's 4 draw calls, and let's say I will have this statue, like, I don't know, 40 times on the screen. It's just an example again. Huh? It's not realistic, but sometimes you do have some items that are like, they have like 40 items on the screen. So even if it's only 4 draw calls, you want to minimize these draw calls. So what you can do is actually click on both, like you select them both in the editor, in the PIE, the plane editor here. In the editor because I'm not playing, and you right click, and you have an option here called merge actors. When you click on this, it will actually merge both meshes together. But what you need to do as well is merge the 2 materials together, or the 8 materials if they both have several materials and everything. And what you need to do here is actually select an option. I think it's that. No, wait. Yeah, because at first it will ask you for the LOD setting, the level of detail, and you need to specify which level of details you want. So, for example, usually it will take the 0, the first level of detail, and only then you can say, okay, I want to merge the materials together here. And then it will ask you for the texture size. Is it like 4K? Is it only 2K? Is it so, for example, if you have a lot of materials, like for me, I had to do this for a model that had 8 materials. So I use 4K texture, so it keeps quite kind of good quality. So here you can change, for example, like I don't know, like 4096 pixels. And then you click, you have several options. Usually I'm ticking all the box, like, because you need to use the roughness map, the metallic map, the specular map. If you have them initially in the initial meshes, and then you can just click merge actors, and it will merge the 2 or several actors into only one mesh. But just keep in mind that the more meshes you merge, and the less quality you will get, of course, in the end, or the more materials. Let's say the more materials you have, and because it will just concentrate the whole texture into one, and you will lose in quality. But it's a good trade-off because for me, I'm using this a lot to optimize the game. Yeah. So here, basically, if I click on this, it will merge the two actors and give me only one material for this actor. And if I have like 10 of these statues on the map, it will be only actually instead of having 4 draw calls, it will be only 2 draw calls per statue. But again, if you have a lot of materials, you will have a lot more draw calls. And then again, like I said in the beginning, you can use instance meshes to transform these statues into only one draw call if you use a hierarchical instance static mesh and so on. I didn't talk about that because I talked about foliage, which is already doing this automatically. I didn't get into hierarchical instance static mesh or instance static meshes, but it's something else again to do into Blueprint. So yeah. But a really good option that is implemented into Unreal. It's awesome to optimize games. So if people didn't know about it, so it's really great.
Yeah, that one's a really great trick to have in your back pocket for sure. Because, I mean, like you were saying, sometimes those draw calls can get absolutely ridiculous, and especially if it's a small but extremely dense scene, it can get so intense so quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. Even here, I can see that my frame rate is dropping. Again, I'm streaming and I'm in the editor. So when the game is fully shipped and on a real build, it will be better. But I know I can still improve my frame rate here. Like I said, for the build part, every time I build something, I will go back into playing here. Oh wait, I left the enemies. I will I will remove them because they will attack me. Go away. If I go back here, so this is something I still didn't do. I need to do it, and I will show something else even worse afterward because it's something I wanted to show as well. But this is common building in games. I mean, everybody have seen this in survival games, like the grid type of building. Like, okay, I'm building foundation like this. It's been seen like hundreds of times in survival games. But the thing is, like here, every time I'm building something, it's one actor. But what I want to do, I want to modify the system. So, like I told you, these two foundations are the same thing. But here they are like 4 draw calls because there are 2 foundations and each of them have 1 material. So it's four draw calls. And what you can do is just say, okay, I want to instance this foundation. So there are only like 1 draw call or 2. Even if you have 100 of them on site, you can still have 1 draw call. And this is what I want to do. I still didn't do it. But it will be really, really important for this type of building that people have seen in the trailer, but the conveyor, the gutters, the wooden gutters. So why? It's because this one, you can actually elongate it at will. So here, you see, I'm elongating the gutter. It's already 6 draw call because I have like 3 parts plus 6 materials. And it's even more because you see, I have I instance the pillars, the small pillars you can see below. So this one are only 1 draw call because I instance them already. But if I take this conveyor or these gutters really, really far, imagine players like building like, I don't know, thousands, or like maybe not thousands, but hundreds of them like this. At some point, I will have like a lot of draw calls on screen, and what I want to do is instance these gutters basically. So it's really this system. It took me already like I would say 3 months to do only with this type of thing. So optimizing it will be like maybe 2 months more or something like this because it's really tricky to do and yeah. That's why I don't want to go into it because it will be a lot of work. It's
That could
even
be
more
its
draw
own separate stream.
Exactly. It could be totally a different stream. It's even more draw calls because you can see it actually on screen right now. But there is something that is not appearing is the water. And if I build, for example, okay, so for the purpose of this stream, I will not connect the pump like the tape. Let's call it a tape. It's not really a pump, but it's a tape to the hose and to the pump that is in the river because it will take a bit of time. But I will show it anyway. But here, if I build it, it will directly provide water to the gutter. You see? So here, what you didn't see is that the water meshes were already there, but they were invisible. The visibility was turned off, but they still count, or maybe not actually. But here, it's even more draw calls because now I have one portion of the gutter here and one mesh that is the water. For example, if I break this portion of the gutter here, you see, so I'm making the portion of the water disappear. So every portion of the water disappear behind because you have no more water running through the gutters. But you have this small waterfall here, and if I bring it back here, so okay, I'm just bringing it back by hitting it twice. It doesn't make really sense, but for the purpose of the testing, I left it like this. But if I hit it twice with my axe, you can see it's going back here, and it's going straight through the sawmill.
That's so cool.
And basically, even the water is a draw call. So each portion of the water is two draw calls. So that's why optimization is really important. I don't want to take too long on this thing because it's a bit boring. It can be a bit boring for people. Like, okay, this guy spent way too much time on the draw calls and everything. But for just keep in mind that for a survival game, it can be really, really problematic to have too many draw calls. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I was saying, I think it's really important information to have, especially for anybody else who is, like you were saying, trying to make a survival game. That is so cool. I can't get over it. Oh man, but it is. It's really important because nobody likes to talk about optimization because you're right. It's not flashy. It's not VFX. It's not the build system.
Exactly.
You know, it's not the fun stuff, but it's one of the most fundamental parts of it. So I appreciate that you're giving some tips and tricks that you've come across along the way. It's very helpful.
Yeah, especially that I'm guessing most of people watching the stream are developers, so often players don't really think how hard or how long it takes to optimize a game, but for developers, it's really, especially for 3D games, I think it's one of the most important things. Myself, I'm a bit of a, how can I say? I don't know really an English word for this, but I'm really demanding on optimization for games, and I know I don't want to ship a game that is not well optimized. For PC at least. For console, it's a bit different because consoles, they often go only up to 60 FPS, so you can actually compromise on things. But for PC, when I launch a PC game to play it, I'm expecting it to be over like 100 FPS or something. So I'm a bit of not a nutcase, it will be, but I'm really demanding on this part of gaming. I'm guessing a lot of PC player because PC is like is the only platform where you can actually play games with a high FPS count. So yeah, that's why I really want the game to be flawless on this side, even if it means decreasing a bit the visual fidelity and the graphics. I can still allow people to do like cinematic graphic. Actually, Unreal Engine is actually allowing to switch really easily in terms of graphics settings. But I think it's always the best to allow people to go as high as possible, but still to optimize it as best as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to admit, ever since you mentioned it, I'm very curious about the spaceship scene that you were talking about.
Okay. So maybe spoilers ahead, but if people don't want to see the intro of the game, I will show it from now. I just wanted to show you just quickly something before. It's not working. It's like you can. So I wanted to ask people in the chat if they think it's a good idea or not, but I implemented this option. I think some people saw it already. Is that you can actually slide on these water gutters. Is it working now? I'm not sure. I think. Wait. Maybe I broke it. I think I broke it. Oh, I did. By the way, I didn't show the inventory here, but I will maybe show it next time or later. But wait. How? I know I need to keep to press a key. No, I don't remember. Maybe I will show it afterwards. But you're supposed to be able to slide on the thing, but I don't remember which key I set it. Let me check. No, actually, I will show. I will go up to the. I will go to the intro scene. It will be. I will maybe find the key afterwards, but. So let me open the map. So if people don't want to see the intro of the game, I don't know. Maybe close your eyes. I will open the map.
Still listen, but yeah, close your eyes.
Still listen, but close your eyes. Exactly. There is no, unfortunately, there is no, not unfortunately, but there is no sound, so you won't hear the dialogues. But I had some people helping me for the dialogues, like a YouTuber and other people, but you will probably see the subtitles. But I will show you. Actually, I will show you a really good feature in Unreal Engine that I use for the intro scene. It's really awesome. And I can show as well the subtitle system I used because it can maybe be like of use for some people wanting to make cutscene and everything. Because there is actually a tool that integrated in Unreal Engine that is made for subtitles, but I didn't use this one because it was more for like RPG dialogues. Like you have two people talking and you can select answers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really fit what I needed, so I did my own. It's really simple, actually. I will show how I did it, but I use the data table. I will show. It's better with pictures, so I won't say too much better. So yeah, here is the. So I will go full screen, but here is this intro scene. So you see, I'm in space right now, and basically what I did is you are starting the game in a shuttle, in a space shuttle. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. Shuttle is right? I hope people can understand.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. So basically, you are heading to Earth, and you have this big mothership that is exploding, and you are in this small shuttle here that is quite dark because there is no need of light because you are inside. So I hope you can see it. And you have two other shuttles in front of you. Maybe more. I will maybe add more, but this one will just move in front of you. And here you have this mothership exploding. So here it looks really small, but you will see in the cutscene, it looks quite big actually because I will make it get bigger as it's getting closer to us. Oh yeah, forget about this. It's a secret. I won't talk about this because it will be a bit of a spoil. And here it's a flying room, but you will see it will have a purpose in the game. And here you have the Earth, and it's the same. What I did is like, since you are getting closer to Earth, I didn't only play on the distances. I made the model just get bigger. So as it's getting bigger, you are thinking you are getting closer, but in fact you are just at the same distance from it. It's just getting bigger, and so at some point you will think it's close to you. So if I launch the scene, you won't have the sound again, but you will see the subtitle. I think if I didn't break any code, let's go. Normally start on a black screen. Yes. No, maybe. No, wait. I need to modify something because I actually added the end of the sequence that I need to modify. I need to erase something because I didn't code this one yet. Let me see. I will just quickly. It's called.
I do think that's a really neat trick, though. Having the model scale up over time instead of actually moving closer to it. That's a really great cinematic trick.
Yeah, it's quite of how can I say, a smoke mirror or something. Yeah, it's actually I could have moved the model closer to the shuttle, but it's easier to make it grow. It's actually easier. Let's say more time saving than doing the other way around. So you see, basically, I wanted to the blueprint of my space shuttle here. These ones are empty because they are just like flying in front of you. So to optimize the game, they are just like empty shells. But this one, you can actually go inside it. You have two models here. You have a droid and you have the pilot woman here. You will see that they are interacting during the cutscene. And here will be the 4 players that will start the game. So here you can see legs that that don't have any like torso or anything because it's for the scene, like the cutscene. But and actually, I wanted to talk about something else afterwards. It's making me think about the first person blueprints I use. I can talk about it later, but if we have time again, just tell me, Tina, if we are too long into it. But yeah, and
we're good.
okay, and so yeah, this is a blueprint of the shuttle. So it's a one big block, and if I go inside, wait, let me close all these tabs first. It will be easier because right now it's a bit messy. Up. I will just go back to this one. And what I wanted to remove was the warp effect. Let me check something. It's in the. Actually, I will show the level sequencers. That's what I wanted to show. Basically, when you want to make cutscenes in Unreal Engine, most of the time you will use the level sequencer. I think it's the only way. Maybe there are some other way, but I think it's the most convenient way to do it. You can control several actors and their location, their transform and everything, and their animation. So it's really, really awesome. Basically, I fire the sequence at the beginning of the level. So 2 seconds after the level, I get the sequence. Here I call it shipwreck. And actually, I don't know why I call it this because it's not really a shipwreck, but and then I play it. So yes, there is a note to play it. So if I go back into the level, I will type shipwreck here. I will get to my sequence here. Actually, I can open it from here, I think. Or can I edit? Now this one will open the blueprint. I think I do have to go into the brother, into the asset brother here. I will type shipwreck. It's not here. Oh, wait, I know where it is. Anyway, I will go to this folder. It will be easier. No, it's this one, introspace, I think. Yeah, so that's the one. So here you can see I'm opening, if I stretch this one, here are all the elements I'm using in the cutscene. So you have like audio. You have a lot of audio cues, like dialogues, sounds, like the sound of the shuttle, the dialogues between the droid and the pilot woman, sound of the explosions in front of you and everything. And below that, I'm using like animation to animate and blend animations between different states for the characters, and also the location of for example, the mothership parts here. So this one, I'm actually making them get bigger, but also moving them because it looks better. But basically here, the level sequencer, you can edit any sequence with any actors and any like sounds and animation and everything. And what I wanted to do, if I remember, when I launched, what was the problem again? Wait, if I start again, so I remember. Yeah, it was a wrap effect. So this one, where did I get it? I'm not sure. It's been a while since I edited this one. Space shuttle. I think it's here, no? No, okay, I can. Okay, so I know how to find it again because in the level sequencer, you can actually fire an event from a blueprint. So let's say you have a player and it has a custom event in its blueprint. In this sequencer, at some time, you can say, okay, after 20 seconds, you can fire this event in the blueprint. So here, I will, since I don't remember where I put this one, I will go through the sequencer and I will find it again. So normally, it should be somewhere at the end. Actually, first, the start of my sequencer is not. Okay, I will have to go back to the beginning here. Does it work if I'm trying it like this? No, it's not. Okay, let me check. I will start it here at the very beginning, and then actually it should work like this. Let me check. Now, you see, okay, so I'm starting it a bit too early, but if I moved it a bit further, I don't remember where. I think it's here. Okay, now when I start it, it should fire the cutscene. So you don't have the sound, but okay, now, yeah. So there is the dialogue. There is no, actually the subtitle are not working. I don't know why. But you will start the game like this, yeah, basically. So you are in the sound is really, wait, the sound is really, really loud for me. I will just cut it down a bit. Let me check okay, like this. I don't know why the subtitles are not working actually. They should work. Okay, it's not really. it's not really important. It won't spoil too much since you will not be able to read the the intro, but
That's okay.
yeah, basically you have a dialogue between the two pilots. So yeah, I'm starting it a bit too early, so you can see it's stuck at the beginning, but yeah, here you can see the droid talking to the other pilot, and what you have is your friends will be in the seat by you
Okay.
here, and yeah, the Earth will get closer, and the mothership part as well. Yeah, and here I can see my limbs. Well, it's a bit weird right now because I didn't really work on this, but
It's all work in progress.
exactly. So here, you will go through the one of the ship parts. I don't know if it. I think it's, or maybe not. Nah, maybe I was still working on it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I don't remember if it will work right now. But you are supposed to go through a part of the ship. No, actually, this is. I won't show too much because this is something else I didn't want to show. But you are supposed to go through one of the part of the ship, but I won't show. It will not work here, and I think I won't be able to find where is. Or can I actually? It's just this section. Actually, you can, if you can see, the mid section of the mothership. You can, yeah, this one. You can actually go through this. You will actually. You can. It's not. You can. You will actually go through this part of the ship here. Like it's a bit of kind of like Michael Bay movie or something like. But it's something I wanted to do. I wanted to do in the beginning, but it's not really realistic. But it's kind of like, okay, we are in, and we'll start a great adventure. So yeah, so it's something I wanted to do. But what actually I can show you, I can actually correct it because when you are working on a level sequence in the editor, you can actually see. If I move the cursor here, you can see the thing growing. So for example, you see the. Actually, I think the Earth is not. Or is it? I don't remember, but you see this part of the ship here is actually getting bigger. You see?
Yeah.
If I move, yeah. So as I'm going into the sequence, you can see the shuttle is here, and I'm making this part of the ship grow like this, and then it's going under this shuttle, and the other one you are supposed to go through is this one. So I think I must have elongated the scene. Let me check if I bring those back here. If I do this, yeah. Okay, so you see here wait. Let me see. I will unlead the scene so you see better because we are in space, so it's dark, so you cannot really see. I will unlead the scene so people can see better. So here you have the two parts of the ship, of the motherships, going. The first one is going under, and the other one, I don't know if I calibrated it well. I think so. So you see here is the shuttle. The players will be in, and I think it's okay. Should be okay. Yeah. So you see, I will go. We will go through this. Maybe if I launch it again, it will take quite some time. Maybe like 2 minutes, but I will. We will go through it again. Yeah. You can still see the screen, Tina. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it will probably glitch and go through the first one. I'm not sure, but since I just increased the time. or maybe not. I don't know if it works actually. Yeah, I think it will work. Yeah, it's working. So now we are going through. You will see the shuttle in front of us will just go through this part of the mothership, kind of. And here we'll normally go through the corridor. And now there is a song, like a music, and this I don't want to show. So yeah, basically this is the way I made the cutscene in Unreal. So I'm basically playing tricks on the visual kind of the perspectives of it.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily good. It's like both moving and getting bigger, basically. Yeah. You
That
can
was
see it's really
awesome.
getting. Thanks. And I think the Earth is actually not getting bigger. No, I think I left it like this because it was great. I think just moving it like this to the. So in fact, the only thing that is not moving in this cutscene is you, because you are just static. Yeah, your shuttle is just not moving. Everything else is, but not you. So that's a trick. So I'm sorry for people who wanted to play the game and feel like they were immersed in it, because it just broke.
I think it's good.
Everything.
Break the fourth wall, as you were saying.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Well, that was awesome. And I really like that you show that, because I think it pulls into some of the other stuff that you were showing earlier, like the hologram circle that comes up for how you build and everything. It kind of pulls all of that sort of sci-fi aspect together.
Yeah. And I really want to play on this aspect of the sci-fi side of the game, like where you will go explore some part of the derelict ships and everything, the wreckage, and yeah, this is really something I have in mind, to have this kind of contrast. The best way I can describe it is I really wanted to have this contrast between nature and primitive things, and the more sci-fi, advanced, futuristic part of humanity, kind of. And this is not really something we have seen so far. Icarus did it recently, so I was like, okay, that's the same kind of idea, the same base for the game. They did it a bit differently, but it's the same kind of mindset, like where you are like arriving on a planet, or for me it's Earth, but you are arriving in a like primitive environment, and you have to start from scratch and getting like into more advanced build parts and technologies and everything.
Yeah. I for one can very confidently say that I am tremendously excited for what you already have done, of course, but just I cannot wait to see where this goes. And of course, when the game releases, I already have it wishlisted personally. I'm going to be one of the first playing it for sure as soon as it drops. But there are a couple of kind of overview questions that we could maybe wrap up with if you're comfortable.
Sure.
So, for one, you mentioned that you want this to be obviously a survival game, but you have a story that you're planning for it as well, that we got to see a little hint at with that opening scene there. How long are you thinking the game is going to end up being, or what are you aiming for?
I would say eventually it will be like, I'm targeting like 20 hours or 30 hours, something like this. Basically, I would like the game to have a storyline, but also to force players to build a base and everything. Because if I go back to the forest, for example, it doesn't really, you don't really have to build a base. You can actually do the game without building anything. It's a bit harder, but you can still, you are not it's not mandatory, I can say. And in my game, I really would like the players to have to go through this sandbox stage where you have to get new technologies, new recipes, new crafts, and everything. So yeah, in my mind, it will be like 20 to 30 hours, more or less. Yeah. Maybe for the early access, it will be less because it will be really the raw part of the game. I want to have I want the early access to have like some part of the stories, but I will add upon it, add more chapters. I can say like more temples, more caves, more wreck parts of the ship and everything. So maybe the initial state of the game will be like, don't know, 10 hours, but in my mind, it will be like 20 to 30, even maybe 40 hours. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think it makes sense. If you're going through all the trouble to make this incredible build system and this incredible structure system, you might want players to have to go through it.
Exactly, yeah.
Experience all that hard work.
Yeah, you have to force them to do this. No, I'm kidding.
Strong arm the players into playing your game.
They have to see how much effort was put into it. No, I'm kidding. No, but it's just that I feel like it's better to have a cozy base, you know, like a cozy house, a cozy home. You can actually experiment in or things like this. Yeah. But
Yeah.
so, something I didn't mention. A lot of people ask me if there will be like a creative mode as well, like you don't have enemies or threats or blood or anything, and yeah, basically there will be. I will try to make one at launch as well. I know some people don't care about the fighting side of the game and everything, so yeah.
Very cool. I know I'll probably end up spending a little bit of time in there, mostly because I suck at combat, but it's fine. So, the burning question, of course, that everybody has: when is early access being released, or when is it projected? When is the date that you have in mind?
So the date I have in mind is like early 2023. So basically in 1 year, because I have so many things left to do. So I would like to say earlier, but it's better to say later because I don't think I will be able to test everything. Like we said, there will be a need of a lot of testing, like a beta and alpha, beta, and everything. So I will need the help of a lot of people in the meantime, and so on. So I will say, 1 year, basically. Not before 1 year, for sure.
Yeah.
For the
Honestly.
launch, like for the release, for the early access. Yeah. Maybe the alpha will be like this summer or something, but yeah, for the release, like the early access release, it will not be before 1 year for sure. I'm pretty sure it won't be.
It's a good call. I'd rather you not rush it and take your time with it, make sure everything gets worked out the way it needs to. And obviously, we'll all be ready and waiting for when you are ready to give it out to us.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
with that, unless you have any other stuff that you are super excited to show off, I can go through, we can answer a couple more questions from chat, and then what do you think?
Just up to you. I have many more things to show, but if what time is it? I don't have the time displayed, but if it's up to you. It's let me know. I think we can answer more questions. It's okay. I think it's better
Okay.
to yeah.
We'll go through, I'll pick just a couple more, and then we'll wrap it up. So for this, did you use Chaos or Apex Physics for it?
I used Apex, yeah. Chaos, no, because Chaos was still in beta on UE4. I think it's in UE5. It's like official release, but I'm still not on UE5. So far, I used Apex.
Yeah.
Apex technology. Yeah.
Good follow-up question to that. Are there any plans to either move the game over into UE5 eventually, or make any other projects moving forward?
Sure, I'm planning to move the game into UE5, yeah, before releasing it. I'm hoping because I really would like to take advantage of Nanite and Lumen as well. So these are both technologies I really would like to try in UE5. So yeah, I'm trying to I'm hoping it will release officially this year so I can actually switch to it.
Keep an eye out for spring.
Ah, nice.
Couple other things for the multiplayer. How are you handling that with servers? Are you doing a dedicated server for it?
So this is actually a tricky question because I had a lot of people asking me for dedicated servers. Right now, I'm only developing the game for like a listen server type of game. So basically, you have a host and people are joining the host. But I will really try to do my best to have dedicated server at launch, even for early access, to allow players to have their own servers and everything. But I don't think there will be like official servers at launch because it's a lot of money and work because you have to pay for official server and everything, unless I have like funding or something else. But right now I'm targeting listen server, and I will try to allow like dedicated server for players to host their own server as well. It's really an objective I have because I had a lot of people asking me this question as well on my Discord, on other like platforms. So yeah, I will try to do my best to have it. I think it's really nowadays it's really awesome to have this dedicated servers option. So
Yeah. One of the other questions was, are you ever planning on expanding the team, or are you going to try and keep going at this as a solo developer all the way through to the end?
I think if the game does well, and I really see that a lot of players are into it, I will probably try to work with the team. I'm not really like attracted to working in team because it's a lot of work as well. You have to manage people and everything. It's a lot of work to manage people and to get like focus on really the vision you have for the game. But at some point, I'm guessing if really I'm like overwhelmed by the, I don't know. Let's say it's like wishful thinking, but let's say there are like I don't know 1 million people, of course, playing the game. Of course, I will probably work in team because it will be too much for one guy like me. so, but that, again, it's only like a hypothesis. But I'm like, yeah. For example, if I take Valheim, like. They were like 5 people in the beginning and they were like overwhelmed by the success of the game. So I think they had to hire a lot of more people and everything. And I'm guessing like I cannot correct all the bugs and glitches and everything on my own if there are like, don't know, 2 million people playing the game. It just, again, it's just wishful thinking. But let's say if if the game really does well, I will probably work in a team. I have no choice anyway, I think. So yeah.
Then you were strong-armed into that. So strong-arm the players into playing the game, and then they'll strong-arm into getting a team for you. Then last but not least, if anybody is interested in following you and the process of you making this game, what are some good places that they can find you and follow along with this?
Like social media or some, you mean?
Sure. Yeah, social media, if
Yeah.
you have a Discord, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there is a Discord for the game. Basically, I'm on all the social media like Twitter, Reddit, Discord, YouTube. The only one I'm not really into right now is TikTok, but I'm trying to get into it, but it's harder because I need to edit videos a bit differently. But yeah, basically I'm on every social media like Instagram and everything. If you look for Derelicts, I think on this media you will find. I think
Awesome.
normally you should find it.
Awesome. And make sure you do, because he posts some incredible stuff, constant work in progresses. I am personally stalking the Derelicts Twitter almost every day, looking for updates, and it's just incredible watching everything come together over time. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us in our community today. Seriously, this is an incredible project. The fact that you're doing it entirely on your own is absolutely mind-blowing. It looks really professional and so incredibly well done. And I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to come on the show and not only talk about the project, but also open up your blueprints and actually walk through some of these processes with us.
Well, I didn't really get the time to show too much, but yeah, it's for the blueprints because it's better, I think, to show visual things. But yeah, and but thank you for inviting me. It was really a great opportunity, a great broadcast, and it was awesome, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is always a spot open for you to come back later, especially around release. I think everybody would love to see the process and the progress after it comes out. But thank you once again for coming on. Also, thank you to all of our viewers for coming in and watching. Really appreciate you guys being here and interacting and asking questions. It is super awesome of you to come in and interact. So I can't thank you enough for helping out with that as well. We post all of our streams in video format that can be viewed on demand on our YouTube channel afterwards at Unreal Engine. Don't forget to keep up with us there. Also, don't forget to keep up with us at Unreal Engine on all social medias, as well as come say hi in our forums where you can get the latest news and also find all links associated with today's stream. But other than that, once again, thank you so much for coming on and showing us your incredible project. And I hope the rest of you have a fantastic rest of your day. Don't forget to come back next week.